Yeah. Hair flip. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I don't like it. Hair flip. Yeah. Oh my god. So you guys should be happy. Oh my goodness. Hair flip. But anyways, hair flip. And hair flipping on these hoes. Hi. Different people have different preferences when it comes to intimacy and relationships. Sounds healthy, right? But what if your spouse is caught sneaking around with a transgendered woman? What if you weren't aware that your significant other has some sexual tendencies that are unconventional, to say the least? This information can be jarring and has been known to cause serious relationship problems. Celebrities who are caught at some point or another with a transgender individual may have also questioned their own sexuality after the incident. While there's nothing wrong with finding out who you are and what you like, it's not particularly wise to make these discoveries at the expense of someone else's feelings or your career. Even though many of these celebs have gone on to create great work, in the back of the minds of some fans, some of these famous individuals will always be known as the guy caught with a transgender woman. This isn't exactly a career boost. Hank Baskett. Basketball player Hank Baskett has been in hot water with his ex-playmate wife, Kendra Wilkinson, for his affair with a transsexual, and it may have happened on more than one occasion. Kendra has asserted that she had found out information about her husband's trust in bits and pieces, often at the time that the general public got the details. The couple's reality show on E! Entertainment Television also explored Baskett's infidelity, and the two even appeared on Oxygen's Marriage Boot Camp in an attempt to work their marriage and rebuild trust. Baskett and Wilkinson have 2 children together and have decided to keep on working on reconciling. Dave Chappelle. In 2018, comedian Dave Chappelle hilariously recounted his intimate encounter with a transsexual woman. During his Netflix special, he admitted to meeting the person, who had very attractive breasts, and going back to a hotel room together. According to Chappelle, he found out she was a he and they did not have sex. Instead, he allowed himself to masturbate with her breast, because technically those fake titties were just as real as the other fake titties in Los Angeles. Wiz Khalifa. A popular rapper who recently ended his relationship with model Amber Rose was allegedly caught sleeping with Amaya Scott, who is a transgender. Of course, there are rumors swirling about who was at fault for the breakup, but the news of Wiz's connection to a transgender woman undoubtedly makes for even juicier gossip. Peter Rosenberg, a radio DJ for Hot 97 in New York City, is a family friend of Amber Rose. Rosenberg stated that Amber walked in on her husband having sex with Amaya Scott. Recently, there was also talk about Amber Rose wanting Wiz Khalifa back, and that the two may be attempting to reconcile their relationship. Now remember, this is before Wiz and Amber called it quits. Absolutely. Justin Bieber. The pop superstar supposedly spent some intimate time with a transsexual woman by the name of Vanity, who is about 20 years older than him. The two were spotted at a party in Malibu. Voodoo, an adult entertainment star, stated on a radio show in Toronto that she saw Justin Bieber being led away at the Malibu party by a woman that was later realized was Vanity, who is also an adult entertainment star. This isn't the first time Justin Bieber has had an alleged connection to a transsexual. In 2013, a woman from Brazil who claims to have had sex with Bieber denied reports that she was transsexual.
Hey guys, welcome to I.O. where we overload you with information. I'm Michael and we're talking about Justin Bieber. Some news was leaked on a popular Toronto radio show that's got people wondering, is Justin Bieber gay? He was at this crazy party and they had no cell phones allowed inside. But a popular porn star named Voodoo went on record to say that he saw Justin Bieber there. He was doing his thing, he was having some fun, maybe having a few drinks, and he was approached by this beautiful woman. Her name's Vanity. She is a transvestite porn star, and she's been going around duping celebrities all over the place. Well, this guy Voodoo went on to say that he saw Justin Bieber getting cozy with Vanity, and the two took off to a room elsewhere. When Justin Bieber emerged, he was walking a little funny. Check out the clip of Voodoo right now and see for yourself.
At a Hollywood party, Malibu party, you know, I'm being given a going away present by my girlfriend. Yeah. And which is an orgy with several women. Yeah. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Justin Bieber smoking a joint and getting led away by some woman who I thought it was a woman. When they came out together, I realized it was Vanity, a famous transsexual.
When this story first broke, I had to see what Vanity looked like. I had to see, if she approached me at a party, would I, give her some time? And, I was kind of blown away. That is one good-looking she-male. I'm gonna give Justin the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he, he's a pop sensation. He can have any woman he wants. Maybe he's into that thing. Guys, I don't know. What do you think?
Now, allegedly in this next video, this woman, which is Brazilian, is leaving Justin Bieber and he is asleep. She is alluding to the fact that pretty much they slept together the night before. Now, I believe in showing both sides of the coin, and there's other places on the internet that states that this is a natural born woman, a cis woman, that had an encounter with Justin at allegedly a brothel, that this woman is a prostitute and she came and had sex with Justin Bieber. Other parts of the internet state that this is a transsexual that is leaving this room with Justin Bieber and unknowingly while he was asleep was taking video as she was leaving. So I'll let you be the judge. LL Cool J, one of hip-hop's original pretty boys who always had the ladies swooning, is said to have had a brief encounter with Toni Newman, a transgender woman. In Newman's book, I Rise, The Transformation of Toni Newman, she states that she and LL Cool J had a one-night stand that was very enjoyable. The rapper's rep denies these allegations and refers to them as pure comedy. This likely comes as good news to LL Cool J's wife, Simone. The couple have been together for over 20 years. In addition to LL Cool J's successful rap career, he's managed to make a name for himself in acting and hosting as well, and even has hosted the Grammys.
The memoir I Rise, published in April 2011, I mentioned rapper, actors, producers, and some of those that I have spoke publicly on is LL Cool J. I met as a street prostitute 15, 16 years ago.
Baby girl was draped in Chanel.
The encounter with LL Cool J was a one-time encounter. I serviced LL Cool J. I knew it was LL Cool J, and he knew, in fact, I was transgender. It was like any other encounter I had. I got paid. I performed the service. Thank you. Never spoke again. We didn't text, email, call. We didn't exchange any numbers or contact information. I never saw him again. There are gays and lesbians and bisexuals in hip-hop. Because not all of them are gay. Some of them do like women, but they get freaky sometimes.
Now come on over here and fuck me up the ass.
The National Enquirer contacted me, polygraphed me with Joe Paglioli, a Secret Service agent from John F. K. He polygraphed me. I stayed there for 2 hours. We signed a contract, and they contacted LL Cool J. It was coming out, and I had a contract. Everything was signed. It would come out that Monday, and it never did. From that point, Jackie Jasper of the Hollywood Street Kings said, "Show me your contract that you signed." I showed him what the National Enquirer had me to sign. I been polygraphed that I named LL Cool J of the One Time Encounter, and I was polygraphed to that. He ran it on his site, and eventually he ran it 2 months later in the Hip Hop Weekly magazine. On the cover is LL Cool J gay. And that article talked about LL, Eddie Murphy, and Hot 97 DJ Mr. C.
Did LL Cool J ever offer you anyone cush money?
He did not. He hired Martin Singer. He sent me, my business partner, my agent, my manager, and my publicist letter saying, if you speak again about me, I'm going to sue you. We responded. Let's go to court. We'll meet you there. Martin Singer is now representing John Travolta and other big name celebrities.
Mr. C. The famed hip-hop DJ was caught on video soliciting sex from a transvestite. And in early 2014, the 47-year-old told GQ magazine his quote, "It's no offense to transgender women, but I only get with transgender women for one thing and one thing only, and that's for oral sex," he said. Transgender Tony Newman, the author of the memoir I Rise, The Transformation of Tony Newman, confirmed, "Mr. C picked me up and many others for sole purpose of receiving oral sex."
Also had multiple encounters with Hot 97 DJ Mr. C.
You know what I mean? This is the winning hand.
We saw Mr. C driving the Hot 97 van, circling around. I've been in that van, I would say maybe 30, 40 times. During that time, I had long braids. I was called Fit Terry, was my street name, and that was my transgender escort name, Terry, and I was out there. Mr. C was very nice to me. He enjoyed receiving good oral sex, would verbally express, "Do it right, come on, and the better you did it, he'd throw a 20 your way. Say, all right now, and you keep doing it until he finished his thing, and you grab your money, and he opened the van door and out you went.
And what about how long was that ago?
For me, that was about 15 years ago that I used to see Mr. C during that year and a half, 2 years I worked as a street prostitute. I saw him 3 or 4 times a week. I was fortunate in the beginning to get picked up 3 or 4 times a week. As time went on, he began to look for newer people. He'd use you for a while and move on to new meat. And I didn't get in as much in the last year, but that first year, 50 times.
There is 3 sides of the truth: your side, the other person's side, and the truth itself. So without further ado, we're going to get into Mr. C. Please bear with me. The video is a little longer, but we want to hear his side, don't we? So let's get into Mr. C and hear what he has to say about everything that's going on with him and these alleged transsexuals.
Our conversation with Mr. C, Mr. C is family to us, and we crack jokes here. You know, the last time Mr. C had this incident, the first thing I said to him was, "Get a room, G. What are you doing?"
Seems like the easiest solution.
I was like, Motel 6, like, why on the boulevard? Like, what's happening out here?
La Quinta.
And we crack jokes and we laugh, and other people crack jokes and the listeners crack jokes, and it's family, it's fun. But I think this time around, now that it's a reoccurring incident, the first thing that comes to our mind is, our brother, your preference and whatever you're into, it doesn't matter to us. You're our brother. But what is scary for us is the fact that there's crimes being committed. And, you know, we want you to, you know, if you need our assistance, and if you need our help, and if you need support, we're here for that. And, you know, I know it's a scary place, and I know in hip hop, you know, there's this big bravado, and being from Brooklyn and this whole pride thing and then the West Indian thing all adds up to a scary place of like being in denial and all of that.
You're throwing that in the pot.
Well, it definitely crosses minds, crossed my mind.
I mean, it crossed everybody's mind. So Mr. C's here. I just wanted to establish that so everybody knows out there throughout this conversation, while we're going to have serious dialogue, you know, we're going to crack some jokes because you're our brother, and we know that your heart, you're a good person. It's not, you know, you're not out here doing nothing to hurt anybody, but a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say, and, you know, we just want to make sure that you're okay and that you receive all the support and things like that. So I'm going to throw it over to you with the first question, C, and this is what everybody wants to know.
This is what everybody wants to know. First of all, foremost, good morning, Tri-State.
Good morning.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
I'm here, and I'm ready to go, man.
Are you gay?
I am not gay. I'm looking in your eyes. I'm looking in Cypher Sound's eyes. I'm looking in Rosenberg's eyes. I'm looking in K Fox's eyes. I am not gay.
Why then male prostitutes?
Well, you want to talk about Thursday night, Friday morning, or you want to talk about 2011? Which one? Where you want to go first?
I don't even, the incident, I just want to know why male prostitutes.
And I'm asking you another question. Do you want to go to Thursday
whatever
night,
you
Friday
want,
night?
whatever you want. Just explain to us, because that's the news that we get. We don't know anything else.
I got you. Thursday night, Friday morning, I was approached. And you know, you guys got to really understand that I still got a court case to deal with, so there's certain things I can say and certain things I can't say. But Thursday night, Friday morning, I was approached by a female undercover cop. A female Latino undercover cop, not a male cop. The female undercover cop, I have her badge number, so I know who it is. Why did the story first start off on Saturday? Because I think everything kind of first jumped off on Saturday with the first story. If you do your diligence and you do your research, the first story that came out in the Daily News was undercover female officer. Then from out of nowhere, it changed into male undercover officer. Breeze, Syfe, Rosenberg, K. Fox, I can't answer why it changed from that. But there is enough information out there available where one day it said female undercover cop, and it changed. And I understand the police have their job to do, and I understand that being that female officer was undercover, she has to protect herself, and now it's going to be a case, and I have to fight for it, and she has to be sequestered and all of that. But I can't answer, and I don't even know why it turned into that. Now,
no, let me ask you this. You said you're not gay.
Right.
And you don't prefer men, and you've never done any of that.
No.
That's not your thing.
No.
Is that what you're telling us?
No, I am not gay. I said that to you before.
Hold on, but real quick. You're saying you're not gay.
Right.
Fine. Keep in mind, see, I don't care what the answer is, but this is just what people want to know.
Okay.
But are you saying that you also, this is just a coincidence? Because there's an alleged time before 2011. Are you saying these are all coincidences?
Well,
and you've never had anything to do with a man ever?
No. Well, I already answered the question that I'm not gay, right? The incidents that happened in the past with me, the 3 incidents or whatever you want to say, there was one person brung up in those 3 incidents that was a male. You never heard anybody else's name being brought up in any other incident.
Or no other gender, you mean?
Or no other gender,
okay.
Male or female. You never heard another person's name brought up. You only heard somebody brung up in the last incident of 2011 before Thursday night, Friday morning, which was the male. Now, as a morning show, and I'm saying this to all of y'all, if y'all have done your research, and I don't know if you have and I don't know if you haven't, but if you've done your research, when the incident happened in 2011 with the alleged male person, that male person put out 2 different videos. Mm-hmm. One video saying, I don't know Mr. C. I never met him. The only time I ever seen him is when I was locked up in the cell with him. I didn't engage in no sexual activity with him. Then there was another video with that person with a comedian that I'm not going to mention his name, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I know Mr. C. He has a small penis, and yes, I was with him.
Whoa.
So there was 2 different videos out there from that alleged person. One saying I wasn't. I don't know C, and one saying that he was involved with me. So what does that tell you? But if you do, like, once again, if you do your diligence, and I don't want to come off as being the defensive, but I'm only telling you what's out there available if you do your diligence.
So see, here's the thing. The reason I personally am not paying attention to all that is because I don't really care what your preference is.
But I understand that, Ebro, but the thing is that in the way of the world that we live in, I understand that all people care about is what I'm involved in.
No. This is it. I'm going to tell you it right here. This is what people care about. In 2013, people care about people being themselves and not having to hide who they are. Right? So in this incident where it's like, yo, because in hip hop, we know that there are homosexuals in our culture, but everyone likes to act as if our culture is somehow immune to some sort of, no, fam. Like, there are gay rappers. I don't know who they are, but the percentages based on gays in our communities and in our society would suggest if there's a number of people, some people are probably gay. Same thing with professional athletes, right? So I think the reason the heat comes at you is because it's like, all right, fam, are you or aren't you? Because don't hide, because that's a disservice to our gay and lesbian listeners, and that's a disservice to people out there who are afraid, and you're a public figure, so then people go, yo, C, come on, man, like, you could do this for us. You know what I'm saying? That's why. It's not like, yo, C, you have to be gay. No, that's not it. Well, it's people making sure that people aren't hiding who they are in a day and time where we want everyone to be celebrated for just being themselves.
You're absolutely right about that. And one thing about me, and all you guys know this about me, I am always, and I'm always going to be always for defending people that don't have as much power to speak and don't have as much power to ride. When I say that in cases of, when the Haitians had the earthquake in Haiti, who was the person that rode out and did a Haitian tribute?
100%. But see,
but Ebro, let me say this, man. Let me say this. I embrace the gay community more than you know. More than any of you guys know.
But you said, you're saying you're not gay.
I'm not gay.
Have you ever?
I've already answered the question. I am not gay.
But there's
I know.
But there's differences, my man. Like, what I'm saying to you is, as your family, right? You have gotten in trouble in public, right? For soliciting a prostitute, which is a crime.
Right, soliciting a prostitute.
And they said it was a man.
That's what.
And we want to let you know, if that's your preference, we don't have a problem with that.
Ebro, don't you know? If you know anything about the law, you know
very little, and I've never.
Okay, so if you know anything about the law, and if you know anything about dealing with police and so on and so forth, and first and foremost, let me just say this: shout out to the whole 83rd precinct in Brooklyn, because they really, really took care of me in there.
Rapper Mase. In 2007, the rapper/pastor 38 allegedly was looking for some late-night action with transgender prostitutes. When he hit a woman's Range Rover while cruising a bad part of Atlanta, the unnamed victim later appeared on a local radio station, WHTA, and said that the prostitutes had told her Mase had allegedly been circling, looking for a transsexual hooker to pick up. In 2007, Mason Betha was accused of circling around in his car looking for companionship in Atlanta's Spring Street section, which is known as a trans prostitution strip. Mase attempted to make a U-turn when he struck another car. He refused to cooperate with police until they threatened to impound his vehicle. Kelly Osbourne and Luke Warwall. In 2011, fashion police star Kelly Osbourne, 29, suffered a humiliating breakup with her male model fiancé, Luke Warwall, 24 at the time. Kelly discovered he allegedly betrayed her with Elle Schneider, a transsexual who was awaiting gender reassignment surgery. Kelly fumed to Glamour magazine. Everyone kept telling me that Luke was cheating on me, but I never believed them. It's hard enough to get your head around someone cheating on you, but when it is a chick with a dick, Kelly's quote. Gwen Stefani and Gavin Rossdale. Transgendered British pop singer Marilyn told In Touch that he'd had an affair with Rossdale years before he married Gwen Stefani. The Bush rock star later admitted to the relationship that happened when he was just 17 years old. Telling Details magazine, it was a youthful experimentation. It's just one of those things, move on, it's part of growing up, said Rossdale, 48, who now has 3 sons with Gwen Stefani. Teddy Pendergrass. The famed soul singer who died at age 59 in 2010 lived in a wheelchair for years after a car accident that involved a transsexual. In 1982, Pendergrass lost control of his Rolls Royce in Philadelphia, hitting a tree. The Turn Off the Lights singer was found with a passenger, Tanika Watson, a transsexual nightclub performer whose original name was John Watson. While Watson suffered minor injuries, Pendergrass was left paralyzed from the chest down. Ronaldo Nazario. The Brazilian soccer star, 37, was caught in a sex scandal with 3, excuse my language, trannies in 2007. I'm just reading an article. I do not believe in saying that word. In Rio de Janeiro, the 2002 World Cup winner allegedly picked up 3 hookers and got the shock of his life back at the hotel when he discovered the gals were actually guys. According to Rio police, Ronaldo charged that they tried to extort him for money. He apologized publicly for his stupid act. Rapper Bow Wow. Did Bow Wow go wow over a post-op male-to-female transgender woman named Nadia Milan? In 2009, according to Baskett, Milan's friends sent an item to the blog stating the rapper had hooked up with her for a one-night stand. It was unclear to alleged friends if Bow Wow knew Milan had once been a guy. Rapper Chingy. A transsexual named Sydney Starr claimed she once had sex with the rapper 34, a charge he denied. Sydney said on a radio interview, "I feel he's ashamed. That is all it is. He's ashamed to come forth about it, and he shouldn't be. I don't think it would be bad for him to admit having sex with me. Why should you be ashamed of a woman just because she's transgendered? That's just my opinion." Later, however, Starr apparently recanted her story about having sex with Chingy, as well as other rap stars like Soulja Boy and Lil Wayne. To be fair, not only did people question if Eddie Murphy had a crush on Michael Jackson, they also questioned it about Johnny Gill. Johnny Gill and Eddie Murphy back in the late 80s, early 90s especially, they were really close. You know, they've always, kind of been close, the best of friends, if you will. But a lot of people around the Hollywood rumor mill stated that they were way more than friends, that Eddie Murphy and allegedly Johnny Gill were in a man-to-man relationship, like two dudes dating type of situation. If you don't believe me, let's get into Johnny Gill speaking about it himself. He denies the claims, which I'm not going to say he's lying. If Johnny Gill says it's not true, hey, it's not true. That's what we're hearing from him. But at the same time, where there's smoke, there's fire.
I have a huge following with women. You're always going to be considered gay. They call you all kinds of names. And I was just like, wow, well, I don't want to be in the business if that's what I got to take on. Right. But the reality was that was a part of the journey. And yes, did it hurt? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, the one thing I never wavered from, whether it's my friend, my best friend, my brother, Eddie, I never walked in front or behind. I was like, listen, I don't get whatever somebody's got to say. The one thing that has never happened throughout all of the rumors and all that stuff, nobody ever walked up to me and in my face or has ever asked or said anything crossways to me about that. They would all talk behind, but I always said a real man can come. And I've always said, if you come here in front of me talking that, and I said, if you walk away on 2 feet, I'll be whatever you want me to be.
No, and you know what's crazy, Johnny, and how immature, and how hungry we are. And I'm not taking myself out of the business. I have been hungry to try and crack a joke to make people laugh or whatever. But then I think about it, the way you and Eddie were rolling, and I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
If somebody saw me and Jay Black, we together all the time.
All the time. Let me tell you.
Yeah, like Jay stayed, when Jay drank too much, he stayed upstairs in my house.
Yeah, I was let me tell you, I think everybody at some point, maybe you haven't, but most people in their life, you only hope and pray and wish that you'll find and have a best friend, somebody that you will tell and can ride or die. Listen, I never questioned anything that Eddie did or said, and all I knew and have always felt and said, because that's my brother, my road dog, I'm like, yo, let's rock. What we doing? Who do we got to go and fight? What are we doing? Never questioned anything and was like, what they said. And I remember Eddie saying one day, he said somebody was doing a joke. He was doing comedy one night, and somebody was yelling and screaming and yelling and screaming. And he told him, he said, shut up, nigga, before I knock you out with my wallet.
Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was 4 years into his marriage to Nicole Mitchell Murphy on May 2nd, 1997, 20 years ago, when police pulled him over at 4:45 a.m. after he picked up a transsexual prostitute, Addison, aka Shalamar, in his Toyota Land Cruiser at a known homosexual prostitution spot along Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. To set the scene, Murphy's run-in with police was 2 years after the Hugh Grant incident with Divine Brown, and 6 years after Paul Rubens' Pee Wee Herman was arrested in an adult theater, and the public was primed for a new sex scandal, especially one that can imply the comedian was maybe, gasp, gay. Because the late 90s were all about outing stars. Murphy, then 36 years old, a movie megastar after making the jump from Saturday Night Live to the big screen, wasn't arrested or charged when he was stopped 2 miles after Shalamar, a born male but identified as female and dressed like a woman, got into his car. An interrogation by deputies determined no illegal activity had occurred. However, his passenger, who police described as a known transsexual prostitute, was picked up on an outstanding prostitution warrant. Murphy walked away from the incident with a clean record, but he didn't do himself any favors with his publicist's excuse for the night riding. His spokesperson claimed Eddie was merely giving a prostitute a ride home. She asked him for a ride and Eddie did so, like he had helped people in the past. The rep told CNN that Eddie said, "I was trying to be a good Samaritan and this is what happens." The story made Murphy the punchline. Even SNL aired a sketch with Tim Meadows as Eddie performing community service by saving a transsexual. So the star, who had recently bounced back from a career slump with The Nutty Professor, granted an interview to People magazine with his lawyer Marty Singer, yes, the guy who repped Bill Cosby, present for further damage control. Eddie recounted that Nicole and the kids were away. He had insomnia, so he went for a drive to buy magazines. Eddie Murphy's quote, "I saw this Hawaiian-looking woman and said, 'What are you doing out here?' She said, 'I'm working.'" Murphy recalled of the meeting with the American Samoan Shalamar. "I said, 'You shouldn't be doing that, soliciting.' And bada bing, I'm never giving anyone a lift again." Murphy explained that he thought Addison was a girl, but noted that's not even the issue. It wasn't like I was looking for someone. It was a person I assumed was a girl at the corner. He went on to describe the situation as embarrassing, saying, "I'm not sitting around depressed going, oh, people aren't going to think I'm not Eddie anymore. I'm not a man. I know I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm never ever going on the 50 most wonderful list, but I'm not a degenerate either." The Coming to America actor launched into how he was really an undercover Good Samaritan. Eddie's quote, "What people don't know is, for years and years at night, I'd get in my car and I'd drive all over Manhattan. I'd given people money," he claimed. "I'd stop and talk to homeless people. I'd go to corners where there are prostitutes and give them $5,000 and $10,000 to go home and get off the street. When I'm doing something charitable, I'm not doing it for publicity. It's out of the goodness of my heart." However, Murphy followed that by bizarrely mentioning how he scrubbed the car clean after Shalamar was taken away by police. Not your typical comment made by a big-hearted humanitarian used to working with the homeless. Eddie's quote, "I'm obsessive compulsive in cleanliness," he said. "After I got home, I wiped off the door handle and the stuff the person had touched." The People article noted some wrinkles in Eddie Murphy's story, including the fact Eddie Murphy said he was dropping Shalamar off at home, but when they were pulled over, it was after passing Shalamar's residence. So that was a lie. Eddie was not dropping Shalamar at home because they had already passed her house. So that was false. Murphy wasn't the only one talking. So was Shalamar. The National Enquirer was said to have paid her $15,000 bail in exchange for her story about Eddie Murphy. Shalamar reportedly told the Tabloid in an article entitled, "Eddie Murphy's Secret Sex Life, His Transvestite Hooker Tells All," that she was looking for Johns when Murphy drove up. In the car, she claimed Eddie placed two $100 bills on her leg and asked her if she liked to wear lingerie. When Shalamar said yes, Murphy supposedly asked, "Can I see you in lingerie?" She said, "I told him whenever I have the time." Eddie said, "I'll make the time." Shalamar also said they discussed what kind of sex Shalamar liked, to which she replied, "Everything." Murphy ended up suing the National Enquirer and the Globe for $5 million each for libel, slander, and invasion of privacy for publishing interviews with trans prostitutes. Yes, more than one prostitute came forward and alleged that they had sex with Eddie Murphy, who claimed to have had sexual relations with the actor. Soon after, he settled the suit with the Globe and then dropped the one against the National Enquirer and had to pay the tabloid's legal fees. Murphy also sued Shalamar's chatty cousin for $1 million for talking to the tabloids. It's unclear what the outcome was. Murphy's marriage initially withstood the scandal. He told People that Nicole was shocked at first. She was like, "Oh, Eddie, this could get twisted into all kinds of ways." But they stayed married, having 5 children, although he's a dad of 9, before they split in 2005. At the time of their divorce, there was rumors that the scandal was going to rear its ugly head again as they hashed out a settlement. She supposedly wanted more money, but that never materialized. Had she gotten more money, she might have thrown it away anyway. A con man later fleeced her out of $10 million over the divorce settlement. As for Shalamar, she was back in the news almost a year to the date after her arrest with Murphy. That's when she was found dead on a sidewalk wearing only lingerie outside of her apartment building. Are y'all ready to get into that? Lingerie? Eddie? Shalamar?
He did not. He hired Martin Singer. He sent me, my business partner, my agent, my manager, and my publicist letter saying if you speak again about me, I'm going to sue you. We responded. Let's go to court. We'll meet you there. Martin Singer is now representing John Travolta and other big name celebrities. He represented Eddie Murphy when he was picked up in '97 from the transgender prostitute who the cop caught her performing oral sex, who a year later was found dead, jumping off her roof or something. Same lawyer. And he sent everybody letters. He sent another cease and desist letter second time, Martin Singer, on behalf of LL Cool J, to my whole team again after I did the New York interview.
On April 22nd, 1998, Addison, known as Shalamar, fell to her death outside of her apartment. The death was considered odd, and the prevailing theory the police went with was she tried to swing from a balcony because she was locked outside of her apartment and fell to her death. Some felt that the arrest with Murphy had marked Shalamar as a target for retribution to keep Murphy out of further embarrassment. The superstar comedian even hired a Hollywood private eye, Paul Barassi, to help defuse the scandal. In 2014, Murphy was threatened with a lawsuit by a transgender woman named Honey Dip Ashton, who claimed she was romantically involved with Murphy for years, starting from when she first met him at the age of 17. She stated she became involved with Murphy because she thought he could improve her life. So here's the thing with Shalamar. She was believed to have been locked out of her apartment building and tried to use her robe as a rope to slide down from the roof and swing to an open window. However, she fell 5 floors and suffered severe head trauma and other fractures, which resulted in her death. Now, I just don't understand why a person would risk using a robe to slide into an open window like they're Batman or Spider-Man or, someone that, Evel Knievel. That is very daring to do something like that 5 floors up to where it's pretty much, you're definitely dying if you, fall, unless some type of miracle keeps you alive. Do you feel that that is worth the risk? Do you feel that it's worth the risk to try to jump from a roof to enter an apartment window and not think that there's a higher risk of you dying than you surviving? I call bullshit on this story. I felt that maybe somebody was chasing her. She was afraid. And Shalamar went to the roof to try to get away from said person. And I believe that they threw her off. I do not believe that Shalamar fell from that. It just does not make sense. If you're looking down, seeing 5 floors down, an immediate death, if you try to jump, it just doesn't, it's not worth the risk. Why risk your life to try to get in an apartment when there are other ways to do so? Calling the caretaker, calling the landlord. There are so many different ways to get in. And with her going to the roof, does not make sense for her to try to, jump jump floors to try to get to where she's getting to. It just doesn't make sense. Something definitely happened to her. And she was only 21 years old. So there's a lot of, people that are naive, at that age. But I believe even a 21-year-old has better common sense than to try to use a robe as a rope to try to gain an entry into an apartment when you could possibly die because it's 5 floors, that you can fall if you do not make it. So it's not worth the risk. So once again, something definitely happened to Shalamar, and me, I'm definitely going to find